Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And guys, Nick Kinzel's internet decided not to cooperate with us tonight, so he is not on the show with us. So let's get right into it with our Diecast of the week. Mike, what you got for us, brother?
All right. So as you know, we're coming off a track that was a tough drive. Really, really difficult track for drivers all day long. And we saw one of my boys have one of his best days in his career. Bubba comes home P3. So I wanted to throw it back to the pit shirt's probably going to give it away a little bit, but his first podium finish in NASCAR, finishing second, the Daytona 500, and that click and close 43 Chevy Camaro.
What a beauty of a paint scheme. I got that same diecast, just all the detail of all the damage on there. They did a hell of a job with this one.
They really did. It's one too where it's got the one flat wheel too.
Yep.
Yeah, they killed that one. One of my favorite diecasts. That's kind of the birth of Bubba being pretty good in these restrictor plate races. He ran out there, ran really well, made some enemies along the way. As you may or may not remember, this was the race that also sparked the Denny Adderall comments.
Yep, an enemy who became his boss.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right, so we're talking Pocono this week, and I had to bust out Kevin Harvick's first and only Pocono win, the Head for the Mountains Busch beer car. His one of 9 wins that he had that year, and one of like a million beautiful paint schemes that they ran that year. So had to go with this one. Oh yeah, they knocked it out of the park in 2020.
I feel like that's all he won in were Busch sponsored cars in 2020. It's crazy the way that worked out.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you just look over and tell me right now, you got the whole collection.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. There's only one, and that was Mobile One. That was his Dover win.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah. So, all right, some breaking news that came out this week. Dillon out at GMS at the end of the season. Mutual agreement between both of them. I mean, I kind of saw this coming. I mean, he's not really a guy where you're going to have him stay for 2-3 years. We kind of seen how his career's kind of gone, kind of average, middle of the pack driver that we've seen. So, Mike, what you got on this, man?
I kind of agree with your assessment. I don't think anybody really had these intentions or these thoughts that, Ty Dillon to the 42 was going to be a long-term kind of deal. That's really not the way, like you said, Ian, the kind of the way Ty's career's gone. And it's really not, not been working out very well over there. That 42 has not been competitive. They've been, back half of the top 25, top 30 week in and week out. You're seeing that car wrecked and getting taken off on the wrecker with some regularity there. That's a tough way to keep a job, and, we'll get into it here in the race, but you find out you're losing your job and then you're going out on Sunday making more friends. You're really not helping yourself.
No, not one bit. And no, we got quite a few candidates that could be up for this ride. Bob Pockris, he said it. Noah Gragson, he's the top candidate. We know he's Cup ready. He's already ran like half the season for the Cup Series already this year. So I think that'd be a good choice. I mean, this equipment's still kind of unpredictable. I mean, hell, look at it. Look at the point standings right now. Non-playoff point standings, Eric Jones is ahead of Denny Hamlin. So those 2 wins are helping Denny out right now. But that petty GMS equipment, it ain't the worst thing in the world right now.
No, you're seeing, Eric Jones run really well in the 43 this year, just like you said. He's been fighting for race wins, top 5s a lot more regularly. It's been actually pretty refreshing to see that 43 be competitive. The other part of that, though, is too, you think back, at least the way I thought about things. When RCR fired Daniel Hemric, and, the 8 came over and Tyler Reddick went into the 8, I was very questioning with that too. We saw how the RCR equipment kind of ran, and it was very lackluster at times. And, you really didn't know how Reddick was going to fit in there. And he's run incredibly well.
Yeah.
He won. Obviously he's leaving. We talked about that last week, but he won. He's really kind of up the stock RCR as a whole. Maybe, a guy like a Noah Gragson, a young star in the making, goes to that 42. And, with another young, hungry driver and Eric Jones, they really go put that place on the map and really, get after it. But, Could also see that going the other way. We've seen it kind of happen with some guys too. You take a ride like that just because it happens to be on Sundays. You make bad habits. You run 25th all week, and the next thing you know, you're kind of another guy looking to prove yourself all over again. So,
right. I mean, we'll just have to see. But I mean, there is a lot of hungry drivers in the Xfinity series right now that would love to take that ride up. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of doors that could be opening for Noah Gragson here in a little bit. I mean, there's still rumors for Junior Motorsports moving up to the Cup Series and having a ride for him. So, I mean, right now the sky is the limit for Noah Gragson. I feel like he has a lot of options ahead of him.
yes, I was just getting ready to say with Noah, I don't think he's going to be short on Cup Series options the next year or two here. I think it's going to be more of where does he want to land, not if he's going to land. I'm not saying every single one of those jobs is going to be a marquee race winning car week in and week out, but I think he's going to have, a couple different favorable options at his disposal here come the end of silly season.
Right. All right, so let's get into this New Hampshire weekend. Trucks were off. We had Xfinity and Cup. And the Xfinity series was a freaking banger, man. We saw cars going 4 wide. They were bumping and banging. It was an absolute freaking crazy, just kind of short track race. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, New Hampshire a lot of times feels like a big short track. I didn't really feel like that watching the race on Saturday. They, like you said, Ian, they were, beating and banging out there, running 4 wide at times, really using up every lane that you can drive on that track. It was, as usual, the Xfinity Series knocked out of the park on Saturday.
Yep, absolutely. So Josh Berry, he won the pole for this race, but he got some damage during qualifying, so he had to start in the back. So Daniel Hemric led the field to green. And then some early trouble with Justin Allgaier spinning out Julia Landauer. He just didn't know where she was, how close she was to the wall, and just accidentally spun her out and took her out of any kind of contention.
We plead the fifth on this one here. We're going to go ahead and no, but hey, man, even the best drivers are going to, be prone to make mistakes from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Justin's a pretty conservative driver, doesn't really put the car in too many bad situations, but every once in a while, everybody goofs up. Watching it, that just was one of those, I don't know if he didn't get good information, which is hard to believe because he's got a pretty good spotter. Right. But, or maybe he just genuinely didn't see her and, hey, it happens.
Yeah. It's the way she goes sometimes. So we had Ryan Sieg winning stage 1, William Byron winning stage 2. And then here came the little on-track incidents with Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemric. God damn, I wish Nick was on the show right now for this. But basically, Noah Gragson, he just tire hopped it, got into the 11, gave him a little damage, and then 11 did the same thing to Noah, but spun him out. So, I mean, I guess he got his payback. But, hey, Noah understood it. He knew that it was coming.
I thought we were done with these two, though. I thought that was like a couple years ago. It was fun when it happened, but, especially since Hemric hasn't been quite as competitive in the 11 so far this year, thought it was, that's it. But here we are back at it again. Gonna be excited to see where this one goes. So, like you said, it was nice to see some poise out of Noah. Usually he gets pretty fired up in those situations. I thought he handled himself well. So that's a good indicator for the future too. He had some adversity and handled it like a champ.
Yep. And then more trouble for Daniel Hemric. He has a left rear go down, hits the wall, ends his day. So sucks for the 11, just more bad luck for that team.
Yeah, it's kind of the only luck they seem to get. Ask Nick next week. He'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Again, I'm kind of glad Nick's not on the show this week. Then we had a big wreck with Josh Berry spinning and collecting Ryan Sieg and Jeb Burton. Ryan Sieg, his car went up high when the 27 and Jeb Burton went in there. Glad he's all right because we kind of seen that same kind of move happen when Eric Almirola broke his back at Kansas a few years ago. So glad that Ryan Sieg came out all right. Same with Jeb Burton.
That's exactly what I thought as soon as I saw the wreck too, the way the rear end of that car and end up the whole car ended up kind of getting up airborne there. The Eric Almirola incident is the first thing that popped into my mind too. So glad to see he's okay. No major injuries there, but yeah, kind of another pivotal, change in the race, that big wreck there too.
Yeah, I mean, this track's starting to look like freaking Talladega or whatever with all these freaking big ass crashes. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was you had guys trying different lines. Nobody was afraid to be aggressive out there, which was kind of fun to see too. And I think the track ended up being a little looser than they thought too, because guys were sliding around. Especially at the end there, man, it got aggressive.
Oh, yes, it did. Yeah, like I said, we saw cars going 4 wide, guys getting out of shape. It was absolutely awesome. But once again, Trevor Bayne, 18, is the bridesmaid again. Justin Allgaier goes on the victory lane, gets it done for Junior Motorsports on one of the most dominant seasons that we have seen out of that camp. But man, oh man, Trevor Bayne, he's got 2 more chances at victory in that 18 car this year. Is it coming?
I'm really, really tired of being upset when Justin Allgaier wins. This is starting to get old, Trev. You just need to beat him already so we can just get past that, and I can just be happy when Justin wins again. But, again, I think with the way the race, because at points it did get strung out, and you could really tell with the leader, the clean air was just, again, it was just absolute king. Those guys just go way out front. We saw it again Sunday too. But, Trevor, really didn't have too many opportunities to really get up there and fight with the leader. So coming in second the way he did is probably as good as he could have done anyway. It's, every time he seems like he's getting closer and closer and closer. And once again, I feel like his next race, he'll be the pick to win again.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he looks fast. He's gonna get a win here pretty soon. I really hope that all these second place finishes turn out to be some kind of full-time Xfinity deal. I mean, we've talked about in every show on how he deserves that full-time ride. I really hope it's coming soon. I really hope it's with that Joe Gibbs camp.
Well, and you hit on a couple things too, as talking about hopefully his other good finishes too. If you're watching him every week too, like, you're seeing the quality of the driver that's in that 18 too. We saw it firsthand in Nashville a couple weeks back. I mean, he's driving that car every single lane. He was making the high lane work, making the low lane work. You saw that again this weekend, on a track that's, tough for drivers to make one lane work. Trevor's, undercutting guys, taking the long way around the outside and beating them on corner exit. Really just putting that 18 wherever he wanted to. I think any team that's not looking at this guy right now and the talent, everything that he's going to be bringing to the table, not wanting them on their team, is just, you're missing a big opportunity here. So I think he's going to have some doors open. I think a win or so really makes it easier, but I still think the resume he's put together so far this year. If you're going to have a ride open, which it sounds like JGR's Xfinity program will have one, maybe more, I would very easily pencil Trevor into one of them rides if I'm JGR.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, why wouldn't you? I mean, this guy is right now he could have like 3 wins in the Xfinity Series this season.
Easily.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's move over to the Cup side of things. On Sunday, Martin Truex Jr., he was in that green Interstate Batteries car. That threw me off for the whole freaking race. I kept thinking he was Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that, and then Kyle having the DeWalt car. I was so messed up all weekend too.
Yep.
It's like, and then you see something fast happen, you have to kind of re-remember. It's like, no, the DeWalt, that's not Bell, that's Kyle.
Yep.
That was messing with me all weekend.
Yeah. Hey, Bell is glad that was Kyle because Kyle kept spinning throughout the whole race. So we'll get into that. But hey, we were talking about Ty Dillon. He was going all over the track. He was getting into the 31 of Justin Haley. And then he took out Alex Bowman, Josh Bilicki, BJ McLeod, ending all their days. Just Ty Dillon. I mean, he is one of the nicest guys you'll meet in the garage, but this guy just doesn't have the talent.
I'm not going to be too mad at anybody that gets Alex Bowman that mad, though. His in-car was pretty good there.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of the best things that Alex Bowman has said. He doesn't say a lot of great things, but there it was.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with him either.
Yeah, I mean, he's just proved. I mean, the guy drove in the 3 car in the Xfinity Series for RCR, and I think he only has like 1 Xfinity win. I think that's it. And he's just nowhere competitive, even running down there. Like even in the truck series, he wasn't even that great. So this guy, I mean, like even his brother is like way beyond his talent. And I don't know, just Ty Dillon, I really do think if he's going to be doing anything, I think he should retire. It's over.
Well, listen, everybody's kind of got their place too. Not everybody's got to come
Mhm.
up and run for championships and stuff like that. What I kind of know to be true about Ty Dillon from things I've read and heard, he could have easily went the Austin route and just stayed in the RCR camp his whole career, but he didn't really want to do that. That's one of the reasons he went to Germain too. He kind of wanted to branch out and try to do his own thing. And, small operations were never going to be really running for championships and stuff. Yeah, maybe he's not an all-star caliber talent. Maybe he's not going to go out there and be competing for race wins here and there. But that doesn't mean there shouldn't be a place for a guy like that in the series too. I don't know if he's going to walk away or what he's going to do, but I bet you there'll be somebody to take Ty Gibson or Ty Dillon, I should say.
Someone's definitely going to take Ty Gibbs. Maybe not Ty Dillon, but completely different talent right there.
Yeah, that's a horse of a different color right there altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. But Truex Jr., he wins stage one. He was fast throughout this whole race. And then Kyle Busch spin number one happens, spins by himself, no damage. So good for Kyle. I had to go into the rowdy reactions for Dalton and see how he was handling himself, because I know he watches on a stream, so I know I'm a little bit ahead of him. So I just wanted to see his live reaction real quick. So it was pretty funny. That was pretty entertaining to tune into.
Yeah, it was a heck of a race for him to do his live reactions to. Couple crazy spins, Kyle run up front for parts of the races.
Kyle's whole crew chief getting the win.
Yeah, that'd be a peak and valley day for Dalton.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had a big wreck for Harrison Burton, Michael McDowell, and Corey LaJoie. Damn, the bad luck continues. He gets fucked last week, and then he gets fucked this week. Whole front end is destroyed. Cannot continue for old Shoe.
Well, I love Corey, but he didn't really get fucked this week. He kind of did it to himself.
Well, I mean, when you get a little loose, he said it is so hard to overcorrect these things. Like, I mean, that's what happened. Look at Noah at Atlanta. He overcorrected it like a little bit. He just went straight into the fucking wall. So these cars are still getting used to them. They're still hard to control. And that's what I love about them.
Well, and Corey said on his in-car too that, something about as soon as he hit the brakes, they like immediately locked him, just kind of shot him up the track too. So yeah, really not much you could do either there. But no, I'm with you. I'm liking how difficult these cars have seemed to be to drive so far. You're really starting to see on some of these tracks, the cars get put back into the driver's hands as much as anything else. So it's been fun to watch. I thought that was pretty evident this Sunday too. You saw drivers out there making a big difference in, what was going on the racetrack, not just what got prepped at the shop.
Right. All right, and then we had Kyle Busch spin number 2. Again, no damage for the 18 car. He continues to go. He did like old 360 and just kept on going. So 18 knows how to get it done when he handles those kind of situations.
Yeah, I probably could never do that again. 2 spins like that from in the middle of the pack on both of them and doesn't even get kissed by anybody. That's absolutely insane. Then watching that first one back, I still can't believe somebody didn't smoke him.
Yeah. Right. Especially that 51 of Cody Ware. He was coming right for him.
He was.
Yeah. And then that caution brought out the Brad versus Austin Dillon incident. Man, I have not seen Brad Keselowski this fired up in a long time in the race car. I still don't know what really brought out the whole controversy, because Austin Dillon, he was just really pissed off at Brad under caution, just freaking slams him. And then Brad Keselowski was like, no, and just tries to fucking put him into the grass. I mean, goddamn, where has this Keselowski been, man? I miss this guy.
Well, what are you going to be mad about when you're running like 23rd every week? I mean, you're around the same 6 guys.
Hey, he was actually having one hell of a run yesterday.
He was. No. Yeah, lately they've been hitting a little bit, but I think that's why you didn't see a lot of that Keselowski earlier in the year.
Yeah.
What I will say, I got a couple thoughts on this. Number one, if I'm Brad Keselowski, I would really rethink my actions on Sunday. And here's why. You know, AD comes up, touches him under caution. Don't like it. If I'm him, I totally get being pissed off. He comes down, he smokes the 3. You can go back and watch this slow-mo. You can watch a composite body like warp and then just kind of shoot back to frame. He's lucky that this wasn't last year's body or that he didn't do more damage to his car, because you'd have thrown away like a top 10, top 15 car for freaking Austin Dillon. You'd have been kicking yourself Sunday night.
Yep.
So I just, like you said, Ian, my other thought on this, I really wonder what all kind of brewed this up, because like you alluded to, I don't think this is something that just happened this Sunday. I think it's one of those byproducts of running around somebody for most of the season. You know, obviously neither one of them are exactly where they want to be, so they're struggling a little bit. This guy gets into one time, this guy gets into the other, you know, not leaving each other room on the racetrack kind of stuff, and just boils up. It adds up, and then finally you've had enough.
Well, I mean, just look at Michigan last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the, what was it, the final lap of stage 2, when Brad just spun out Austin Dillon for basically no reason on the front stretch, freaking slams into the wall like right in front of us, almost flips. One of the wildest things I've ever seen to end the stage. It was like for 10th place.
But hey, round 2, huh?
Yep, I guess so. So this thing ain't over yet.
No, not at all.
Yep. So Martin Truex, he goes on to win stage 2, and then more trouble for the 3 car on pit road. Kevin Harvick goes out and spins the 3, and they service that car backwards. I mean, Austin's just not having a good day.
No, when it rains, it pours, man. You know, you're having that kind of stuff, and then you get spun on pit road. Yeah, bad luck there.
Yeah. And then we had a long green flag run to end this race, but Christopher Bell, he chases down Chase Elliott to get his second Cup Series win. I mean, honestly, if it was any track, I saw it coming here, because in the Xfinity Series, this guy just absolutely dominated this track, New Hampshire. And he goes on and does it in the Cup Series. I mean, it's about time that we saw this 20 car start freaking moving. But now this means that we only have 2 playoff spots left, my friend.
Yeah, we only got 2 playoff spots left. We're going to, you know, a couple races where guys outside of that, the playoff bubble and or the win column could in fact win. So this could be a pretty interesting last couple of weeks here for the regular season. So I could see, you know, you got a guy like my boy Blaney. He'd be like 3rd in regular season points overall normal. He's still fighting for a regular season championship and could be on the outside looking in, you know, if things don't shake out the way he wants. So, yeah, going to be an interesting last few races. But just, you know, like you said, good for Christopher Bell, good win. You know, like I said, you saw a technical track get put in the driver's hands, and we know this kid can drive. That was apparent from his Xfinity career. And now I think this year's car really, you know, has allowed him to showcase his talents a little more. Just surprised, you know, some of the other cars kind of went away the way they did. You know, I know Chase had to battle really hard to kind of get around the lappers and stuff to get the lead. Well, not the lappers, but the off strategy guys, I should say, to get back up there and get the lead and probably use his stuff up. But Bell just seemed to have that perfect sweet spot. You know, didn't use too much tire, just kind of give it everything he needed to give it, but not an ounce more. And he still had something at the end. So good for him. Good win.
Yeah, good for Bell. Hey, how about Bubba Wallace getting 3rd place? This was no doubt his best race of his career, I'd say, at a track that he says that this is one of his worst.
Exactly. And, you know, again, you had to really drive this track. So he goes out there and he shows his talent off. It's funny to see what happens when you're not fighting back from pit road penalties, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a race here. You know, he starts 4th, gets up to 2nd by the end of the stage, hangs around inside the top 10 again in stage 2. Every pit stop, you know, they're more or less right about where they were, gain a spot here, lose a spot there, coming, you know, that kind of stuff's paramount. And what we saw with this race big time was this was a strategy race, especially when it came to track position. So, you know, not giving up that track position was paramount. So they got out front, they stayed out front, and it really paid dividends in the end. Really good to see that 23 run well.
Yep. Absolutely awesome to see that for 2311. And since Nick Kinzel is not here, we are just going to be talking about some of the drivers that did well did not do well. So we just talked about Bubba Wallace. Buddy, let's talk about your driver, number 12, Ryan Blaney. I know he got out of shape. He hit the wall, but in all, it just wasn't really a fast day for Penske, really.
And this is a track I thought he would do really well at. If you remember going back to the Eric Almirola win last year, Blaney was in contention for that win a lot of that race. So, this is when I kind of had circled coming back that, we're still chasing that first checkered flag of the year for the 12 team. I thought this could have been a good shot for him to get it done. But, man, they couldn't have got any more wrong, it sounds like. From paying attention to in-car audio, Blaney was just kind of laughing at times to himself about how bad the car was, just couldn't get anything to go, spinning all on his own. Rough day for him all the way around.
Yeah, so, we got some tracks that Blaney has been really good at that are coming up before the regular season ends. We got Pocono, where he got his first win at. He's looked good there in the past. Indy Road Course, I'd say that he would be a player there just because of that Roval win that he has. He always looks pretty good on these kind of Roval road courses.
And he finished second in the inaugural Roval race.
That's right. Michigan, he won there last year. And then Daytona to finish off the regular season. I mean, we know that he is always a factor in those plate races. So do you think it's kind of time to panic, or do you think that this is ideal, that we're going to a lot of good tracks that he is good at?
So I'll be honest, I don't really know how to feel, and I'll explain why. Number one, yes, we do not have the checkered flags in the cabinet for 2022 so far. However, on the other hand, he has run so well and so consistent for most of this season. Under the old format, he's right there for a championship. So yes, we haven't put the car in victory lane yet. And yeah, that's worrisome. I thought, especially after, wrapping off 3 last year, we'd be 2, 3, 4 more this year. And we still could be, we're just not there yet. There is the reality that, you could get a couple new winners and bump him out of the playoffs, but I'll be honest, I just don't see it without him being somebody to win. Like you said, we're going to good tracks for him. I think if you look at the makeup of the tracks we're going to, with maybe the exception of Pocono being a strategy play, and or Daytona being the wild card it is, I don't think any of those other tracks are going to garner new winners, because everybody who's run up front at those kind of tracks has already won. So I would like it if we had a couple checker flag. We were just chilling right now instead of worrying, but I'm also really not that worried. Blaney's running incredibly well this year. If and when those wins start coming, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. We got to get there first. That's all.
Yep, you got that right. I'm just a little worried, as a Kevin Harvick fan, you and me are in the same boat right now. Our guys don't have wins. I'm sitting outside of the playoffs right now, but I'm just looking at tracks like the Indy Road Course. Pocono always brings off some weird winners. Like we saw Chris Buescher get his first win there with the fog. Daytona, you could have someone like Chris Buescher. He could get that win there, lock himself in there. So as a Harvick fan right now, I'm a little worried with this schedule coming up, because some of these tracks, you can just get some guys that can just get their way in. So I'm a little worried right now.
Yeah, I would be much more worried as a Harvick fan than I would be as a Blaney fan. Harvick, I feel like, doesn't quite have it. Richmond, he could always go out and get. But outside of that, there's not as many tracks that you just got to circle like, oh, Kev's going to be a player here. He could be a factor at, the plate tracks coming up too, like especially Daytona. But I don't have as many circled on the calendar for the old Ford. Like, oh man, there's a spot. Here's where he gets it.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had the speed this year.
As of late, he has, the past, maybe I'd say 5 races, we've seen him competitive for top 10. Look at Sonoma when Daniel Suarez won. If he didn't have that pit road issue, he could have gone out and won that damn thing. So I don't know. Even yesterday, Kevin Harvick got 5th place. So That 4, they're finding some speed in that 4 now.
Well, I will give you that. They're starting to find some of that speed. It hasn't been there earlier parts of the year, but they're starting to, get a little closer where they need to be. So I wouldn't say it's way out of the realm of possibility, but we'll just say I got a couple guys I think could get that first win before he does.
Yeah. All right, and then let's talk some inconsistency with Alex Bowman. I know his day ended short with 4 laps into the race, but that's because of his horrible, horrible qualifying effort of 27th place, put himself in that position. And then really, he's had 6 races without a top 10 now. He's been so inconsistent. Really, without his win at Vegas, he'd be on the bubble right now. So he's lucky that he has that win, because right now, 48, it is not a good looking year for you.
No, absolutely not. And we talked about this in weeks past. It's the bottom 2 cars, if you will, at Hendrick Motorsports, the 24 and the 48, have just been so hit or miss. Again, William Byron comes out of a piss missile to start the season off, and then just kind of has faded away into oblivion. Alex Bowman, I should say, has kind of done a little bit of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You saw him have some strong runs. We're 6 in a row now without, being in the top 10. Qualifying that far back in the field is very atypical of a Hendrick Motorsports car. They're just missing right now. I don't know what it is, but they've been super up and down this year, and they're definitely down right now.
Yep. And his last top 5 came at Dover in the spring. So that team is hurting right now. But let's talk about someone that probably has a smile on their face after this one. Brad Keselowski with a P7 finish after getting into it with old Austin Dillon. We've seen, Roush Fenway Keselowski has not really been, I don't know. We thought maybe they were going to be a little bit better this year, but they still look like the same old Roush Fenway that we know and love. But hey, Chris Buescher's been showing lots of speed in the past few weeks, or maybe even the past month. And now Brad Keselowski, past 2 races, he's been showing some good speed, top 10 speed. So really promising. Do you think he's going to keep it up?
It's hard to say. I'm hoping it's because they figured some things out with the new car over at the RFK camp, but it's just the speed is just so new. You don't know if it's something where he just ran into a good couple tracks for Brad, or if it's something that's going to be a long-term thing. If we're going to gamble on whether or not it's a long-term thing or not, I'd like to see it before I believe it. So that's kind of where my head is at on that.
All right. And then some honorable mentions. Daniel Suarez with a P9 finish. That's his 8th top 10 this season. So absolutely killing it with Trackhouse Racing. This is the best thing that could have happened to his career. Just got to love it for the guy. And then Joey Logano with a P24. That's his 3rd straight race with a finish of 24th or worse. So Penske Racing is having lots of trouble right now. That you can say that.
Yeah, this was a really bad weekend for Penske. The 22 and the 12 both ran really poorly. Off the top of my head, can't remember where Austin Cindric finished, but it couldn't have been too favorable if I can't even remember exactly where he was. So, been a tough last couple little while here, but you know what? The 12's been fast at times. The 22's had some fast times too. So they kind of just got to get back on this at a track that's been pretty good to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that will about wrap it up for our race review. Mike, you got anything else to add before we wrap up the show here, bud?
No, I thought it was a pretty entertaining race all the way throughout. I thought passing was difficult at times because, seemed like even with that diffuser, it was hard for guys to get up there and kind of really stick a nose and drive past guys. But you know what, though? I think the track kind of helped with some of that as well by offering different racing lines and stuff. So you could kind of get to guys, you could pass a little bit. But overall, I thought the product we saw on Sunday was a very good race. had a couple dull spots, but we had enough controversy and then, a fun winner made for a pretty fun Sunday.
Yep, you got that right, bud. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning into the Stock Car Spectacle, guys. Make sure to check out our race preview for Pocono coming up this week. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Spotify, so you can check us out there as well. So that will wrap it up for us. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.